When people talk, listen completely. Ernest Hemingway.
Okay, today I'm going to show you how you can grow zucchini, cucumbers, beans, and squash all in a 10-foot by 5-foot area. In the past 2 years, I did an experiment here. I had straw bales lined up and I grew beans and squash and zucchini in them, and they did real well in here. Those bales have composted down. I've added my own compost from our chicken manure compost, and I've added some mushroom dirt in here. But other than that, I haven't done anything to this. This is all 100% organic, and it's 100% no-till. So we're going to grow some beans. As you can see, I have wire, just old pieces of wire that I had laying around. This is cattle fencing, and I just drove a couple posts in, bent it over, and put it back to the ground. Last year, when we had the straw bales here, the beans grew up and made a trellis, and we were able to stand here and just pick beans underneath it. We also grew cucumbers on this and let the cucumber vines climb up this. We were able to just walk up and pick cucumbers. So we're going to plant a few cucumbers in here also this year. I'm doing a little bit different this year. I've made compost piles. I have 3 humps here, 1, 2, 3. We're going to plant squash and zucchini and another squash on this back one. We'll plant the beans and cucumbers on the side. So what I have here is I have a pack of old-fashioned beans from Baker Creek heirloom seeds, and I have some of my own that I saved from last year. These are white half runners, and I have some zucchini and some cucumbers, some straight neck squash and some crooked neck squash. So we're going to go through here. We're going to plant this today. This will be part 1 of the series, and then we'll come back later in the summer. We'll do another video and we'll show you how well it's done. But this is going to show you how much food you can grow in just a small area. Now we have another bigger garden up there. It's 100-foot by 100-foot that we grow a lot of our plants in. This one's down here close to the chicken coop. And we have a few raised beds behind us that we started when we bought the property. This soil up here is very sandy and very rocky. So what we had to do when we moved in up here, we had to do a lot of raised beds. We have galvanized beds, we have old tractor tires. We used rocks that we picked up, field stone that we picked up, and made 5-foot by 10-foot beds that we have our blackberries in. You can see behind me I have garlic. That garlic stays in all year long, grows all year. We have all the garlic we can eat. We just come out here all winter long and pick it right out of the ground on it. So today we're going to go ahead and plant this, get it going. Today's March 19th, or May 19th, I'm sorry. And it's a little bit late, but last week we had a freeze. It got down to 31 degrees. With the wind chill, it was 27. I did have 1 tomato plant and one of my wicking pots that we put out just as a test, and it got bit back a little bit. Some of this soil in this also is from one of my wicking pots. I wanted to change the soil out in it this year, and so I put it in here so we could utilize the soil, and then I'm going to fill it back up with other compost and soil. So let's get started. Now, if you've never grown squash or zucchini before, I was raised here in Tennessee you make a mound and you plant 4 seeds in it, and then you make another mound, you plant 4 more seeds. So that's what we're going to do today. I don't have any zucchini plants started, and I don't have any squash plants started, or I would just make a hole and plant 2 plants in each one of these mounds. But since I don't have any started, I'm going to plant 4 seeds in each one, hoping that all 4 of them will grow, but if just 2 of them grow, we're still in good shape. So this is probably going to produce all the zucchini and all the squash we want to eat throughout the summer. Now, if you want to can your zucchini or can your squash, then you're going to need a lot more. and we'll grow those up in the other garden in the big spot. But this will give us all the fresh zucchini, squash, beans, cucumbers that we want to eat in the summertime. So I want to show you that you can take a small area, even if you live in the city or live in a suburb. You can take a small area that's just 5 foot by 10 foot, and you can grow a whole lot of food in it. So let's get started. So on this first one, what I want to plant is our early crooked neck squash. So all you have to do is take your finger, poke a hole in the soil, whatever type of soil you're using. And like I said, I like to do north, south, east, west. I do 4 of them. So I just make 4 holes with my finger in the top and then drop a seed in each one. Now, you may want to go ahead and make you a marker and a little label to stick in here so you know that this is the early crooked neck squash. I do all mine on the computer. Everything's laid out on the computer, and I put in there, I put in the computer what we put where. And then I can print it off anytime I want. In case I lose my little piece of paper, sometimes the little markers that you use, depending on what type marker you use, by the end of the year, it's wore off. So I'm not going to be putting a marker in these mounds, but by all means, if you want to, put a marker in your mounds. Okay, so that was the early crooked neck squash. In the middle one, I'm going to plant the zucchini. And I'm going to do it the same way. We're going to put 4 seeds in, north, south, east, and west. And go ahead and plant them. You probably hear our peacocks in the background. It's breeding season for them, so they're very vocal today. Okay, just pat that down a little bit. When I get done here, I'll water everything real good. And we had a good rain last night, so this is pretty wet, but I'll give it a good watering and make sure that it stays not soaking wet, but damp until the plants come up. Now, one good thing about the straw is it holds moisture. And that's why growing in the straw bales the last several years, I really enjoyed that, because once the plants get established in the straw bales, you don't have to water them the rest of the year. As long as you get rain every other week or so, you don't even have to give them any water. The straw holds that moisture, and then the plants pull it as they need it. So I'm hoping this is going to work similar to that. Even though it's not straw bales, the straw's still here, it's all composted. So I'm hoping that it'll work the same way. So we've got our early crooked neck and our zucchini planted. So we're going to go to our straight neck squash. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to plant the 4 seeds and just take my finger, poke a hole, and put the seed in. And then lightly cover it up. Now, one thing I did do here is I pulled a little bit of the straw on top of these mounds, so that way if we get a hard rain, it doesn't wash all the dirt away. Okay, so that has our 3 mounds planted. Let's go ahead and plant our old-fashioned beans. Now, the beans, I'll plant some on both sides so that way they grow up and make a trellis underneath. And I'll plant the old-fashioned beans and I'll plant the half runners together. So I'll do every other one an old-fashioned bean and every other one half. We have all the cucumbers and beans planted around the edge of the fence. I just went ahead and cut that out so you didn't have to sit and watch it. I'll come back in here now. I'll give it a good watering, good soaking. That way the seeds have all the moisture they need to sprout. And then throughout the summer, like I said, I'll probably do another video about halfway through the summer and then another one at the end of the summer. So this will be part 1. And that way I can show you exactly how much food that we were able to grow. I'll keep track of it as we pick it. And that way you can see how much food you can grow in just a small area, just a 5 foot by 10 foot area on it. So if you have any questions or comments, leave it below. Thanks for watching.